10 minutes of non-stop news starts now.
As we expected, the number of coronavirus cases is growing in Illinois. Nearly 300 new cases were recorded over the weekend. The state's positive case map shows 9 people have now died from the virus in Illinois. We are coming out on the other side of our first weekend under a statewide shelter-in-place order, and it's back to working from home for everyone who's able to do so. That does not include the Chicago Police Department, where there are 2 new confirmed cases, bringing the total number to 4 CPD officers. The spread of the virus is prompting an emergency hearing today, pushing for the release of certain inmates as a corrections officer at the Cook County Jail also tests positive.
That Cook County Corrections officer tested positive for COVID-19 this weekend. That is why later this morning there will be an emergency hearing to talk about releasing some inmates early. Now, that corrections officer is now in self-isolation at home. We're told areas where the officer was have been cleaned and disinfected. Over at the Chicago Police Department, 3 new cases of COVID-19. That brings the total to 4. CPD says the new cases involve a detective, a police officer, and another officer assigned to a Southside Patrol District. CPD says at this time, all 3 cases are unrelated to each other. But again, in about 2 hours, an emergency hearing to talk about the possibility of releasing some inmates at the Cook County Jail. We'll update you on what we learn. We're live at 26 in Cal. Mugo, Odigwe, CBS 2 News.
The morning commute and evening commute will look a lot different this week, or at least it should. This is the first weekday of the governor's stay-at-home order because of the COVID-19 outbreak. Now, from the looks of it, on Sunday, take a look and see most are obeying the order to only go out for essential things. We saw a few runners and dog walkers here and there downtown. In other neighborhoods, the mad dashes and rushes of shoppers at grocery stores finally died down by yesterday. We are seeing signs of compassion, people picking up groceries for their elderly neighbors. Now, just a reminder, under this order, you can still go to the grocery store, you can get gas, you can get your medicine at the pharmacy. Some people can go to work. Of course, walks are okay. If you need to see more of the do's and don'ts, just go to cbschicago.com. We are live along Michigan Avenue this morning. Audrina Bigos, CBS 2 News.
New from the Indiana State Department of Public Health, 2 additional COVID-19 deaths. We're told both patients were over 50 and had underlying medical conditions. So far, there have been 6 deaths in Indiana related to the coronavirus. City Hall is in mourning today. John LaPlante, the first commissioner of the Chicago Department of Transportation, died after falling ill with the coronavirus. On Twitter, the Chicago DOT remembered LaPlante as a dedicated, longtime public servant. John LaPlante was 80 years old.
We are starting to get a better picture of how hospitals across the state are prepared for COVID-19 patients. Right now, there are 959 empty adult ICU beds and 714 empty isolation beds. We've also learned that there are more than 5,400 empty medical and surgical beds. The state of Illinois currently has more than 1,500 available ventilators.
A request for help this morning so first responders and healthcare workers can take care of their children in a time of changed schedules and long hours as the city responds to the coronavirus.
We are asking that all nannies, teachers, daycare providers, if you're able to donate a couple hours of your day to help babysit first responders' kids.
Mayor Lori Lightfoot and babysitter finding service Sitter City, they're launching a special website. It connects the workers to teachers, daycare providers, and others who can watch their kids while they treat patients. The website is sittercity.com/Chicago Responds. COVID-19 closed the doors of a Highwood distillery. Now the company is adjusting to life after vodka and helping the community. 28 Mile Distilling had to shut down because it's considered a bar and restaurant. So now it's producing 28 Mile hand sanitizer. They're already supplying first responders at the Lake County Sheriff's Office and Lake Villa. Their goal is to produce 700 bottles an hour. Using bartenders and servers to make that sanitizer helps not only the unemployed or underemployed workers, but also those on the front lines fighting COVID-19.
In order to maintain our staff and hopefully even bring maybe more in, we do want to provide it to grocery stores and other people that are short as well. And we can provide making some money in order to provide to our staff and then also to be able to support the product that we're making for the first responders.
Well done, Eric. And this Wednesday, they plan to ramp up production to include retail products in 16-ounce bottles for purchase in nearby grocery stores.
Koval Distillery in Ravenswood has set up a GoFundMe page hoping to provide medical workers with the hand sanitizer they're making for free. So far, more than 20 grand of the $30,000 target has been reached. Koval started making the alcohol-based sanitizer as soon as it got government approval, but it is not available to the general public. In the middle of this pandemic, the Red Cross continues to respond to disasters like fires and tornadoes, but it's had to make some changes. When possible, Red Cross responders communicate with victims virtually over Skype or on the phone to connect them with the proper resources. And when they do need to go into the field, they practice social distancing as much as possible. While it has been challenging, Red Cross workers are still meeting the community's needs.
I know that we've confronted crises in the past that have seemed impossible, but each and every time we were able to be there for our communities.
The Red Cross encourages anyone who needs assistance to call them at 1-800-RED-CROSS.
The coronavirus is turning O'Hare Airport into a very different looking place. Thousands of flights have been canceled all over the world. We spotted a lot of planes just parked out there, basically waiting for flights to be rescheduled. The airport's garages also pretty much empty right now because there are just very few passengers. And if you are taking CTA this morning, we have a lot of answers about how the transit agency is responding to the coronavirus. There are daily cleanings specifically focusing on the areas that people touch every single day, very, very often. Things like the seats and the handrails. Crews are also deep cleaning the entire area and the stations as well as the Ventra machine. So hopefully that helps give you some peace of mind there. And even Metra seeing a big impact because of this virus. Metra normally makes about $30 million a month because of passenger revenue. Well, a conductor told us ridership is down around 95% because so many people are working from home. That could mean a potential loss of $28 million every single month.
Thanks, Yasmin, and Lil Winston there helping you out with that report. Some good news for Illinois small business struggling in this uncertain economy. The state is making low-interest bridge loans available to them as soon as this week. The Treasurer's Office says there's $250 million set aside for banks and credit unions that want to participate, and those financial institutions in turn will determine which businesses are eligible for the loans.
Doctor in northwest suburban Barrington is helping hospitals prepare for COVID-19. Cardiologist Solomon Sager is collecting donated N95 masks, the kind made specifically to help healthcare workers. After posting a notice on Facebook, he collected those masks in a parking lot, and they will now be given to medical centers. All right, as we head out the door this morning, maybe just to take a walk, we know that there's no school today. Let's get a look at our weather. Megan, how is it for any families who's home?